LA just small.
No, you're big.
That's true too. All right, assalamu alaikum, guys. My name's Naim Owenes. I go by Malik Naim. I'm a little tired, as you can see, but I'm gonna get energized for y'all. I'm gonna do a spoken word, a rap, and a spoken word for you guys. I just wrote this spoken word this morning when I was half asleep. Haven't had time to review it, but you can review it with me. All right, it's called Youth. Oh, youth. We don't even have a constitution. Facebook closed evolution as soon as we chose to persecute anyone who would see our values in a different perspective. Because no individual will accept another man's revolution. Youth. What have been our biggest contribution other than our pointless confusion over no real solution? Why have we painted this false illusion like we've produced improvement? We've had no real introduction, just loud emotions that leaves our egos in locomotion. We are the generation of pride and misery. The only society that repeats history. We fail to succeed, but we treat regression like victory. But we've been standing still on this frozen battlefield watching those who call us role models suffer in our imagery. Youth, please refrain from becoming a false prophet who delivers false knowledge from a false God and a false promise. We have generated this nonsense where women are exploited by culture and men are driven by desire. And we think we've grown wiser because we feel immune to the fire. The ones who seem pious are the ones who become uninspired. And in a sense, the community nurturing heroes are required. You can't be a survivor unless you first was a fighter. The devil's cynical with his plans, and he may not retire. Heaven is filled with forgiven sinners, and hell is consumed by arrogant believers. But why do we judge the players on the court when we're criticizing from the bleachers? And everyone hates responsibility, but they want to be a leader. Everyone wants 4 wives but can't pray 5 times. Financially save themselves, yet we stand here and lie. As if the mask we put on will forever be our disguise. But I learned as a child that the monsters in my closet didn't hide. They were bold enough to just slowly creep deep into my mind. And by the time you turn 18, you can't tell the monster from mankind. See, we're in decline. What if we truly nurtured but our own desires in a process of elimination? Our multiple choice left us with no solid voice, and we are enshrined by our own faulty beliefs in our personal mandate of heaven. Youth, I love you. And no shade, but I don't want my future children to be anywhere near you. We are just puppets to fear our own insecurities. Most of us claim to be supernatural with no real ability, and it's truly obscure in all the sensitivity because I've seen too many things to ignore this impurity. We can't even stand for justice without some vendetta. And it hurts my heart to see all these make-believe kings who killed their Corettas. Youth, please don't lock your purpose in past moments. Makeshift dreams aren't meant to be sold for false profit. We shoplift pain from others and fall into depression. You can be the richest human being and still have no possessions. You'll never have the answers until you ask the right questions, but don't make oppression the only time where you bring out your aggression. Fight for what you want through these battles we endure because humanity is dying and I know it needs a cure. Success may seem to fade, but we need to find our cause, revive our broken souls, reclaim a world that has been torn. The youth's the only ones who have the strength to follow through. I looked deep into the future and I saw what we become. We conquer the world and build deep into the planets that orbit space. But while we busy ourselves in the dunya, the devil takes our faith. And eventually our belief in God is slowly erased. But what's mankind without religion? Man without his mission? Let's let go of bad tradition and stop our immature divisions. Youth are filled with ambition. They just lack some ignition. But we must change our position to save mankind's vision. Youth, I am still attached to you. But in time, my age will become ancient relics in a new world. My ideas will be nothing but a history book that collects dust in the libraries of your minds. But the real reason we fail to see the truth is because the world has taken all of our eyes, and we're too in love with this illusion to see that we're all blind. All right, guys. Hope you guys like that. I'm gonna do this rap. I'm not gonna use music because I want to respect everybody here. Love y'all. All right. And I may have crossed the line. Boundaries been gray, but I shaded them in these rhymes. I must have been so blind I didn't think about the afterlife. Now I'm in my grave, dealing with my biggest sacrifice. Would you compromise paradise for a paradise? Drinking, smoking will never feed your soul's appetite. Allah sees you like a satellite. All that money on your mind, no wonder you ain't satisfied. And angels on your back, you're caught in the law. He opened up the gates, you keep closing the doors. He gave you all the stairs, you stuck on the first floor. A lot of you won't hear the song, I'm being real, don't ignore. I guess we all forgot about the sins that we chose. Adam ate from the apple and Luke swiped turned to stone. Or the fact that this universe is still so unknown. When the van app goes off and you're just muting your phone and you say you alone. Don't let your faith ever fade. Allah bless me with the pen. I've been writing out my pain. GCS be the team. God conscious every day. A couple mates said, dang Naim, you have changed correlation between the things that we love and the people we are and what we dream to succumb. I just hope that when I make it, I don't turn into the other guys. I had to drop a lot of friends that living really different lives. I just hope I say the same. My head's always stuck in the clouds, so nothing was the same. That shit Artina up to evil, and I think it's all a phase. Jealous that I spit this fire, and I'm still a man of clay. I'm a young brother from America, living the Dean. Jenna in my eyes, cause I see it as a dream. It's a mission, it's a journey, it's all that I dream. But the dunya can be hard, it's suffocating. All the stress in my mind, 21, I see the signs last day coming in. I don't wanna lose time, I just know that Jahannam be creeping on behind. Out of Zazal, mountain that we never try to climb, and we're infatuated with hate. The month of Ramadan taught us that the devil can't be blamed, cause a lot of us were hating even when he was caged in the dunya. You're a king, but after death you're just a slave. And does it slip through your mind? Do you ever soul search and lose yourself in the mix? Do you ever fall apart like the bullets did to Neo? Now wait, I'm bending backwards, but it ain't the Matrix. I just hope you know we can focus right now. Being better Muslims means being better people. The pigment of my skin should never be an obstacle. So can y'all look in my heart and see me as your equal? Look, I know how it goes, culture shock in my veins, I know how it flows, and I know that I'll be married in a year, so you know how it goes. Y'all invited to my walima though. Look, and this is where it ends. The battle with sins, the battle where we win, the battle where we slay the devil and stay out of trouble. It's 5 in the morning and I'm feeling so humble. Peace. All right, I got one more for you guys. I'm going to do Are We Human? This is what I get for not memorizing nothing. All right. I doubt we are human. This organ in our chest is nothing but the devil's amusement. This world is a pollutant, for we are so desensitized to the illusion of living that we end up walking zombies to a brainless recruitment. Our bodies are parties to every sin that lives on the surface. We consume so much from the dunya that we leave this planet earthless. We lost ourselves in the praise and arrogance, so I ask you this. Can you think to call yourself human? Is our chest filled with love more than our eyes filled with lust? Is our intentions content with trust or our minds filled with disgust? So can we readjust a reformation to the nation of our hearts? Our black plague leaves rats in the streets of our minds. Our infection is deadly because we're blind to every stop sign. We ignore every red light and turn our sight away from our crimes. We live in a world where we mistake our prophets for praise seekers. Our prophets become a prophet for every name seeker, to every thought inducer. They deduce the idea that our love for Allah is nothing but a love for no God. But how can you tell an atheist you love Allah if you miss every salat? How can you tell the poor to believe in your God when you don't pay zakat? How can you tell the hungry children of Africa to still believe when you don't fast in Ramadan? And how can you show the deaf man Islam when the only time you represent Islam is when you speak in the Arabic tongue? How can you boast about the Prophet's migration when you don't plan on making Hajj? Brothers and sisters, it's our pillars we're stumbling on. See, our faith isn't strong because our iman have been lost to every worldly thought. We think of weddings before marriages and intercourse before love. So I ask you, are we human or are we ruined? Because to say that human is flawed is only a clause, because Adam ate from the tree and that was the last time he ever disobeyed Allah. So whose footsteps are we following from? Who inspires our restriction to God? And if someone steps in to prevail, we rebel. Sometimes I sit after prayer wishing I could be a part of the Prophet's cartel. I bet they had the greatest gun spitting from the tongue. See, the real jihad is within the nafs, the heart. So I do have the right to bear my arms, or better yet, bear the Quran. I solely do have the freedom of my tongue to recite every verse that can resurrect the peace and love. They preach peace in the Middle East, But I plead for unity in the West, and as I do, tears roll down my face and hit my chest like a heavenly drum. But there's no contest the way it feels when the organ in your chest is warm and free of regrets. Do we feel human? Do we fill our hearts with another's contentment, or do we search valleys and oceans for Allah's acceptance? Are we steadfast in our worship, or have we truly lost that purpose? Is it all about money, girls, and exploitation? To be popular, do I have to take every physical feature of my body and exploit it and leave my mind unanointed? Sometimes I feel as if my soul is disjointed because my body makes horrific movements and they're pointless. Do you ever find yourself making prayer and your body going in motions without a thought to what you're doing and it hurts? Because that just means you've lost that connection with the Lord who created the skies and the heavens. You can't find yourself because you are going through transgression. The shaitan will distract your worship with depression and aggression. He will injure your ego so you can question Allah's presence. See, the devil seems pleasant, but his profession is oppression. He wants to strip you of morality so you cannot be human. So how many times do we have to look at a reflection in the mirror to realize that it isn't the mirror that's broken, but just our hearts? How many times do we have to joke about rape, adultery, fornication, racism, and gentrification before our own eyes start to ignore it as wrong? They say learn from the past, but man, we still haven't learned from how Adam was tricked by Shaitan and how arrogance killed for their own units trapped in a well, and our will is our doubtful thoughts. Loot people showered by brimstone. Noah's people drowning in flood zones, and our calamities were examples on how to preserve our prosperity. Our barbarity is mistaken as popularity by society. We're searching for our way back home, and our yellow brick road is our religious therapy. Our scarecrow is every sign of the last day. Our Tin Man is the inspiration that allows us to change. Our lion is the courage to stand up for what's right, and our Wizard of Oz is the hope that Islam does ignite. We're all but a Dorothy, wearing the very thing that would send us back home. But it's not about just reaching Allah. See, it's more about the journey. It's obscure how we lack clarity due to our misguided sincerity. We fail to recognize our true priorities and leaves our hearts with no security. So do me a favor and place your hand on your chest. Can you hear that beautiful organ singing? It's singing every harmony that it wishes you to express. But that doesn't mean your actions will reflect. It just makes you think that if it's physically there, then you're mentally clear. But no. If you can't feel what's right or feel what's wrong, then you aren't human. You're just a body of flesh that sins just digest. So check for how many people you infect from your mother who held you in her arms. Her love had confessed. Don't neglect your humanity or mankind will lose its effects. We don't live by the Quran. We just memorize the Quran. We don't live like Muhammad. We just live for his words. We were born living, but we die so quick to industrialize every piece of life. It's ironic that our minds and hearts became metal and rusted through time. Our conscience turns unjust. Our memories are not enough. Our actions may be our only savior, but we are too afraid to transform from Clark Kent into Superman for one last adventure because most of us only are out here to save our Lois Lane and no one else. They say enlightenment is the true cure, but we can't enlighten if the light is dim due to all the human soul must endure. See, I stopped feeling human after the backstabs, broken hearts, farewell, and lost art. My poverty is a figment of my imagination, but my impoverished heart is not. I wrote this poem in fear that my words are just a shadow of a world we used to call home. But when we're judged by Allah, how will you answer this terminal question? And that question will be, what did you do to your beautiful soul? Thank you.